let's review this then. It's a Elektruwash. Elektro wash. Compact 033X. That's the model number. Max load 4 kilograms, and this is now the late 80s. It's a late 80s Cittal made machine before they changed the design to the one next to me. And when I say change design, I mean drum and everything. So this is like would have been sold alongside sort of like the Indesit Prestige series. Cittal being Italian, of course. This comes with just a cold feed, no hot and cold, just a cold feed. It also has a 1750 watt heater, and this is a 4 kilogram machine. Yeah, you'll see in a minute the actual true size. The giveaway is here, 33X. It's 33 centimeters deep. It's a super slim machine made for the European market, and it was imported over here maybe about 10 years ago to go into a canal boat for it to then just sit around not being used. I'm giving it a good clean up, but it's not really perfect. Mechanically it's perfect though. Right, at the bottom we have a kick plate, but this kick plate can't go on because, yeah, I've just literally picked it up and that tab now broke. That's only just about on. There's supposed to be 2 tabs there and they're broke. There is though these bars, and supposedly you can wall hang the machine. And there's me thinking these are just transit bolts that go all the way through, like from the back to the front of the tub. Never mind. Anyway, that's what we got told when we picked it up. We've also got our coin filter here, but obviously no drain hose anywhere. Right, you want to know how deep this is? Yeah, well here's my hand, and there's the back of the drum. In fact, if I come down here, there we go. Yeah, that's how deep it is. In fact, right, so the entire drum is around 17 centimeters deep from the center there, or around 20 centimeters deep in the recesses. That's not very big, considering that's a normal size drum's around 35 centimeters deep normally. So I love this simple design. Look on the door. It's quite well built, this door. I like it, but it's only got 4 screws. 2 screws for the door latch and 2 screws for the hinge. And you can just work on it. Right, our programs are written on our drawer repeatedly, but there's no physical words. It's just symbols, and this will be because this is European made, so it's made for anywhere. So rather than having to repeat themselves over and over again, they just use symbols. So program 1 is pre-wash, 95 and spin. Program 1 is pre-wash, 60 and spin. Program 2 is white cottons 95 and with a full spin. 3 is cold fast cotton 60 with a full spin. 4 is non-cold fast cotton 40 with a full spin. And weirdly, they've labelled 30 as well, cotton 30, which wasn't used back then, with a full spin. Program 5 is your rinses and a full spin. And program 6 is a cotton fabric softener with a full spin. Program 7 is just a full spin. Program 8 is white nylon at 60 with a pre-wash and rinse hold. Program 9 is white nylon 60 with rinse hold. Program 10 is delicate 40 with rinse hold. Program 11 is rinses with rinse hold. Program 12 is fabric softener with rinse hold. Program 13 is drain only, and 14 is short spin. Max spin is, well, I don't actually know. I don't actually really know what the max spin is, but having used it now for a while, I think it's safe to say it's around 400 RPM. And it won't surprise me if that's actually true. Zanussi make a lot of these compact style machines as well, and there are models of Zanussi that were made in sort of the late 80s that had 400 RPM spins. Yeah, that would have been a single speed induction, and that's it. Right, so short spin, I'm going to be honest, is a bit useless. Realistically, everything has to go on long spin, and realistically, having to use it for a while, it's alright if it's polyester or shirts on the long spin. If it's anything else, yeah, it's basically only just spun. Right, we've got our temperature gauge here, from cold, click, and then all the way up to 95. Anything you want. And then we've got our program dial. Now, on and off is operated by pulling the dial out. Pulling dial out is on, pushing it back in is off. Timings wise, white nylon 6 degrees with a pre-wash is around 85 minutes. Program 9 white nylon, haven't actually used it, but with a bit of a guess, around 60-ish minutes. Program 10, delicates at 40, is around 45 to 50 minutes. Bearing in mind, all these include a rinse hold. If you don't select rinse hold though, which is this button here, it will automatically go into drain, and it will drain for like about 4 or 5 minutes. So you can have 5 minutes automatically if you're not using rinse hold. Then obviously you got short spin. Short spin really is only like a 1 to 2 minute spin at 400 RPM. Then you got cotton 95 or up to 95 with a pre-wash, and that's 2 hours 10. Program 2 cotton 95. Not sure. I think it's around 1 hour 50 because I haven't used it. Cool fast cotton 60 is around 80 minutes. Non-colour fast cotton 40, I have used it 30 rather than 40, and it takes around 55 minutes, which isn't bad. And then obviously long spin over here, it is quite long, it is around 8 minutes or so, so yeah, don't worry, even though it's only at 400, things aren't coming out dripping wet, but they've only just about spun. Also, load sizes wise, cottons, max load of 4 kilograms. Synthetics is going to be a max load of half, 2 kilograms. Although I think realistically it's more like 1.5 because of the size of the drum. You can't get 4 kilos in. It's practically impossible. And we're talking about a time, this is the late 80s / early 90s, that, yeah, that drum, you know, an equivalent drum would have been like, realistically 3 kilo. In fact, Zanussi were doing that 3 kilo. They were selling them at 3 kilo at this size. So where Sital was saying these are 4 kilo, I don't know, because it's ridiculous. But I said realistically, there's no manual. Haven't got a manual anywhere. There isn't anywhere to be sourced online. So we're probably guessing here around 2 kilo at most, probably 1.5 kilo, and 1 kilo for the delicate cycle. Which seems realistic when I put about 5 shirts in. We've also got our option buttons here. We've got half load. Now here's a bit of a problem as well. This fascia is all loose. And that's because there's 3 clips that have screws in, and some of those clips are broken. So it all comes away. Naturally, you can get these buttons in. There you go. So, but you got to make sure this fascia's okay in. So you got half load, which will obviously limit the water level to just below the door. On the rinsers for the cotton cycle, it will also do the same for the synthetics as well. But it will also do that in the wash as well as the rinsers. Then we got no spin, which is going to cancel all the intermediate and final phases of the cycle. But synthetics doesn't do intermediate spins and will stop at a rinse hold. So this option is a bit useless on the synthetic side. I'm going to push this in, so push these in. And then we've got rinse hold, which can only be used on the synthetic side. Basically, it will stop after 12 here, the final rinse. Now, I'm going to say this, if you're planning on using synthetics and you don't want to drain at the end, use rinse hold and then just put it onto, realistically, the long spin. Then we've got this kilowatt hours, which is basically economy 60. Haven't used it, yo. So I'm not entirely sure what it does, but I do know it will reduce the temperature to 60 on, obviously, if you're using program 2. Even though you can probably, set it to 60 if you want, it will lengthen then, I suppose, the main wash at some point, somewhere. Here we go. Then we've got K here, just K. I think that's to do with the elect bit of the thing. I think there's supposed to be a fifth option on some models, but they've just blanked it off and put a K in. Talking of blanking off, this is also blanked off. Nothing here whatsoever. This is a light, so I suspect this is something probably with drying, actually, more than anything, on washer dryers of the Citals. You can let me know down below in the comments, especially my European viewers. Hi. This is the door lock light, and it will remain on if the door is locked. So even once the cycle is finished, this will remain on until the door finally unlocks itself. I do like that. This is the 80s, and I'm going to be honest, we didn't have door lock lights. They were certainly very rare if you had any. So, Cital, Italian, that's good going. Just on a little off note, the build quality is both good and bad. The good bit is the drum, etc. It is very, very forgiving. Bearings and stuff seem fine. Bearings are fine, the spider's fine, so I think it's been fine all its life. The wiring, though, was a bit loose around the motor, and subsequently it was starting to trying to eat the heater wire via the belt. Now I don't know whether it's been looked at before at some point, but that may be supposedly tied to the motor, but I've now tied it to the motor since there were little holes there. Also, another little note is how, like, the pressure switch tube, it goes, I think, from this side, this side of the machine, and it comes up and then goes all the way around to this side, just behind the dial for the pressure switch itself. And it's quite long, and there's a bit of slack, and it's like it could have been redesigned. I don't know why I just didn't put the pressure switch behind the dispenser here. Right, before I actually show you the dispenser itself, I'm going to take it out. It's not every day I show you inside here. There's no mould, which is good. We've got this little spring, which obviously prevents the draw from coming out. But this... Yep, that is your diverter. That is your inlet diverter. But it moves around by itself. How cool is that? Right, so what can we fit into a tiny, super slim machine like this. Also, just a note as well, this door handle, it's a little bit, like, flimsy. It feels like you can rip this off far too easily. Well, we've got a full load of bed in here, and as in, like, basically a double duvet, 2 sheets, and some pillowcases. So let's see if we can actually fit it in then. Can we? Well, to my surprise, you can. That's not bad. Also, just to also note, this is the top lid, and that's metal. So much so that, yeah, it's rotted here. Right, so of course this is our detergent dispenser. It does run from the front all the way to pretty much the back of the machine actually, so that is why it's so big. We've got our fabric softener compartment here with a max fill line. It's got a little bit of water in it already. But with a full cap of Anko Soft. Obviously, this is modern fabric softener. And that's a full load version. Because when washing bed in it, we're kind of washing it as a full load. You can see that it will happily take that, but going back to old-fashioned 1980s, 1990s comfort and Lenore fabric softeners, I doubt that it would actually fully fit a full cap, but it would probably happily fit half, as in around 50mm. And that's all you need, really, 50mm. Also, we've got some Morrison's non-bio there. That's going to go into there. That's 110mm. But the compartments for both the pre-wash and the main wash are excessively big for this machine. Right, I'm going to put it there. Make sure it clicks when it does that. You can hear that thud because that's the, obviously, the diverter moving over from the pre-wash. Right, so we'll start as a cycle on program 2. Now what it will do is it will kind of, you can hear the timer going, it will fill up for the pre-wash first briefly and then we'll advance to the main wash to fill up. But on top of that, it won't only just do it on program 2, it will do it on every program. It will do it on 3 and 4, 9 and 10, for example. Right, so let's give this out of 10 then, this tiny little sitar machine. Well, the good is that it washes with quite a lot of water, both in the wash and rinses. Gives quite good rinse results. The spin results are poor. The wash results are okay, as in washing ability. Timings for the cycles are quite quick and long at the same time, depending on how you want to look at it. But there's no real messing about or anything. It kind of just gets on with it. So I'm going to give this, based on a couple of things. Obviously, this is broke naturally from use, which isn't a good thing. And the force of 100 spins pathetic, but that being said, I doubt it's going to affect the bearings or the spider anytime soon, is it? Yeah, kind of like a hit and miss kind of thing. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10, maybe 6.5 out of 10. I really don't like the fact that he classes as a 4 kilogram drum. It's not a 4 kilogram drum any day of the week. It's 3 kilos, and that's your limit. And even then, that's kind of pushing it. Yeah. So I'll go with that. So I'm going to go with 6.5 out of 10. But am I going to keep it? Of course I'm going to keep it. It's still cute in its own way, in its own right. It's quite good in that sense. It has its use in the market. It has its use here as entertainment. Right. Hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe down if you haven't below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done already. And don't forget to leave us a comment of whether you like the machine. What you like about it, or what you don't like about it. Maybe the 400 spin is just as annoying as well. 400 RPM. Yeah. Well, nothing's going to get destroyed, is it? Cool. Alright, I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.